Hi guys, this is Stephanie. Welcome to Stephanie's Journey. For those of you who are here for the very first time, welcome. And if you're not, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about my journey going through real estate school. I started real estate school back in October 2018. I went at nights. I went Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. We got a 15-minute break from 8 to 8:15 every night. I work my full-time job. If you guys don't know, I work. YouTube is not my job. So I went to work during the day, and then I went to class in the evenings. This was a 6-week class. I finished on November the 20th, right before Thanksgiving. So the actual class stopped, I think it was November the 15th, and then November the 20th, which was that Tuesday. We didn't have class that Monday. On that Tuesday, which was the 20th, is when I took my exam. And I got a 90 on my exam, which I was very, very proud of. And then once you pass the exam part, the class exam, they give you documentation, they send it through, and you're able to take the state exam. And I took the state exam last Friday, which was November the 30th, and I passed that. So I am now licensed in the state of Georgia as a real estate agent. Haven't signed up with a firm yet. Have to go through that process as well. But I want to give you guys who are interested in taking the course to become a real estate agent what I used to pass my exam on the very first time. As I hear, it's very hard to do that. I don't know. I do have a background. I have a degree in accounting as well as an MBA. So I do have some business background and a lot of math. So the test wasn't heavily math, but it did have some math, but it wasn't, anything out of the normal that you haven't learned from going through high school. It wasn't that difficult. I just want to give my tips on passing it the first time, and then I have some notes. So the first thing would be, number one, is to take good notes in class. And I use this, what is it called? GoodNotes. And this is the app here. And I used that and took notes in class, and I like this. It's an Apple. I don't know if they have it on Android. I don't have any Androids. All my products are Apple, so they may have it, but I'm just speaking from what I use, and I'm sure they have something for Android if they don't have this. But I used this, and it's just like a sheet of paper, and I wanted to use this instead of a regular notebook because anything that I did on my iPad in class, and I have a pencil, so I just wrote it. You can highlight. You can see here. You can highlight. You can change the color of the pen. And as you can see where things are highlighted, and it looks like normal paper, but you can do it as you're writing, and you can write and just click on it to highlight. But I used that, and I like this app so much is because when I did it here on my iPad, it synced to my phone. So like if I was at work and I wanted to study on my lunch break, I didn't have to take my iPad with me into the office. I could just pull it up on my phone and set it that way. So it was very convenient. So I really like this app. I think it was a wonderful, wonderful app. I had to pay for it. I think it was like $7.99 or somewhere around there, but I'll list that below. I'll look it up and see how much it costs, but I got it from the App Store. Number two, read back over your notes the next day. Just to keep reading over stuff, to get it into your brain, the consistency of it, memorization, because it works. It really, really works. I wasn't a stickler of it, more so on a daily basis, but I did it every weekend. So whatever my classes were for those 3 days, over the weekend I would try to read back over all my notes. If not, just doing my homework. If I had homework or what have you, I would do that on the weekends because I didn't really have much time, because you didn't get out of class at 10. By the time I got home, it was 10:30, close to 11. Had to go to bed and start all over again and get up early to go to work. Number three, make a vocabulary sheet. So it is a lot of vocabulary in the exam. Learning it is your key to passing your test. I'm telling you, vocabulary words. All that other stuff, yeah, you need it, but if you don't know your key vocabulary words, you're not going to pass your exam. I had a vocabulary sheet. I wrote all the words down, put it on a spreadsheet. As you know, they're highlighted in the book. Put it on a spreadsheet. Then I wrote out the vocabulary words so I could learn them. I also bought these cards. I went to Barney Fletcher, was the school I went to, and they sold these cards. I didn't like these flashcards, so I think I used them the first 2 weeks. Then I stopped. I didn't use them anymore. I don't think they were worth it. Some of them had very, very long descriptions on them as far as what it was. And to learn stuff, for me, it was easier to learn. Very short. So, you know, pick out the keywords like, say, encumbrances. They say legal right of interest held by another that reduces the value of one's property. That's too much. Here's my sheet with my vocabulary words on it. So I just printed them out and then I just wrote them out, and then I read over this. I did take this sheet with me to work every day, and I studied it when I had time on my breaks or what have you, and studied that. So that's the key thing. And then they had mnemonics. I made sure that I learned those, and when I got into my test on my scratch paper, I wrote all my mnemonics down. I wrote all my formulas down that I needed, so that they were there, so that I would be able to pull them up quickly because they were written down on a piece of paper. Fifth thing, use YouTube videos to listen to at work or in your car. This was key for me. I found one that was for passing, it said Georgia real estate exam review. And I forgot who it was by. It was a little guy, and he had like 30 videos in there. And it had, most of them were about a prep agent. The prep agent is the bomb. You hear me? Prep agent. He is out of California, and he has a website. You can sign up, get practice exams, what have you. He can work with you one-on-one. I didn't pay for that. However, I watched so many of his videos, vocabulary words, and then he did overview for people that were taking the exam. He did an overview with them where he went through questions, what have you, of vocabulary words, and I just listened to a bunch of them. I mean, he has hundreds of videos out there. So I did that, and I listened to him while I was at work. I just put up an extra screen. Just listen to it, because I learned. That's how I learned. People learn differently, but I learned by hearing things and writing it. So I write it down. Excuse me. I would rewrite my words and what have you, my vocabulary words, and then I would reread them over and over and over, and it helps me to learn. So if you learn that way, that is the best thing to do. The sixth thing is to read over your quizzes. We had quizzes pretty much every day, so I would go over them on the weekends and read the questions and the correct answer, not the wrong answer. Only read the question and the correct answer that is given when you're taking your test. We had matching, we had multiple choice. The actual exam is all multiple choice. So, and what I found was a lot of the questions that were on my practice exams were actually on the actual exam. So make sure you go through your questions and read over those, and that is a good tip as well to study by. Number 7 is to rewrite your notes. I said that, but it is very important. For me, it was. And if you're the type that memorize things from writing it, then I would recommend to rewrite your notes. And by notes, I mean vocabulary words. Not all of your notes, just your vocabulary words. I will write them over. I probably wrote these notes out, vocabulary words out, probably not the full thing, but as you go through class, I probably will write them out probably 3 or 4 times, and I learned them. I really, like, when I started taking my test, I mean, it was like, oh my God, this test is so easy because I knew the vocabulary word. Number 8, take practice exams. I signed up for the practice exams with my school, so I think they had 4 exams, and they had, I think, about 600 questions that you could go through, practice questions. So I went through the questions. I didn't even finish all of them, and I didn't finish all the exams because taking exams stresses me out. So I only took 2 of the exams. I really mostly went through the practice questions, and the exam were those same questions when I went through it because I memorized things. And I went through those. It explains, if it's wrong, it explains it and tell you why it's wrong, so you could get it into your brain as to what the correct answer is supposed to be. You can go back and take it again. You can mark stuff. So that was good. Number 9, use flashcards. And I just talked about that. I didn't like them, but some people may learn this way, and it was too many of them. Like, this is only a 5th of them. It's too many, and you don't need all of that on the test. So I just thought it was overkill. And the last thing, my 10th thing, is to believe in yourself. When I went into it saying, I am going to pass my class. I'm going to pass my exam on the first time. Because people were saying in a class, they had taken the class 2 and 3 times, because in Georgia, I don't know about any other state, but you have the class exam, you can take it twice. If you fail it, then you have to retake the entire class. over, and it's 75 hours and it's $500, so you have to repay that and retake the class. So I wasn't doing any of that. So my goal was to memorize as much as I could and pass the exam on the very first time. So I hope this helps somebody out that's looking to become a realtor, especially in the state of Georgia, because I can't speak to anybody else. This was our book. It was the 14th edition. And I can clearly say that I stopped reading the book after, I don't know, probably, I think it was 3 weeks in when something clicked in my brain and saying, this is too much. I just stopped reading it. I started listening to those videos on YouTube. YouTube saved my life. The prep agent saved my life. And it's another guy, I cannot remember his name. He did all the math. And he was good at it and explaining it and breaking it down where, you know, it was simple. They used this little T, I won't call it a T account because that's accounting, but it's a T, and it shows you how to do the math, if it was a percent, if it was what number you was looking for, that type of stuff. Oh my God, it was just a light bulb. So again, I recommend getting something to take notes on that can be shared between your devices so you'll always have it, and making a vocabulary list and watching your YouTube videos. Those are my top 3 things to passing your realtor exam, classroom as well as your state, on the very first time. So once again, thank you guys for stopping by my channel. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video, and I look forward to seeing you all in my very next video. Bye bye.